What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh, fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And today I wanted to drop yet another mock draft because I feel like I'm really late to draft coverage this year, and I've just been absolutely swamped with work lately. But I wanted to do another mock draft for you guys since the draft is next week, and I promised you guys that I would be doing a lot more to try and just give you a bunch of different scenarios of what the draft could look like for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I also just wasn't that happy with my last draft that I did, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to do another 7 rounds for the Kansas City Chiefs. And hopefully this time I'm able to effectively address all needs, and I'm able to expand on some new and some different players for you guys that I didn't get to do last time. I'm going to try to avoid trades this time and just kind of do a regular draft. But here we are already at pick 32. Offense, wide receiver, Xavier Worthy's there. I think I took him last time. I did this. I can't remember, but looking at what we have here, I think I'm going to try to wait until round 2 to take a wide receiver. A lot of the buzz as of recently seems like the Chiefs may take an offensive tackle in round 1. Now, I find it kind of hard to believe they would take an offensive tackle in round 1 without trading up, because the guys that are going to be day 1 starters at left tackle really aren't going to be there at 32. If you want a guy like that, you're going to have to trade up. Now, maybe the Chiefs have something else in mind, and they still plan on bringing back a veteran like Donovan Smith, which would be like a good idea, because I'm not a huge fan of throwing a rookie into the fire in year 1, but there's definitely options. And here we have, gosh, I'm going to butcher his name, but I'll just say Kingsley, the offensive tackle from BYU. He's been a riser up boards, and he's been someone that has been a topic of discussion among Chiefs fans, especially because BYU, Andy Reid, he's got that BYU connection. I could totally see him pushing for a guy like that. Then we have Jordan Morgan, the tackle from Arizona. I've kind of cooled on him a little bit because I see him more as an interior offensive lineman at the next level. Then there's Patrick Paul, but that's a little bit of a reach here at 32. Here, you know, a pick like Darius Robinson, the defensive lineman, wouldn't necessarily be bad, you know, if wide receiver doesn't fall right, if offensive tackle doesn't fall right, which right now it doesn't look like it's falling quite right. He's a guy that would make a lot of sense. And yes, I'm a Mizzou fan, but Darius Robinson would be a fine first-round pick. He kills 2 birds with 1 stone because he's got that inside-outside versatility. We know Spags loves that in his defensive linemen. And Darius Robinson's very disruptive. You know, he's kind of too quick for interior offensive linemen to be able to handle him, but he's a little too big and strong for offensive tackles to handle him out of edge. He's just such a big physical specimen. He has some shortcomings in athleticism. He has stiffer hips, but he's a true 1 through 9 tech, and he can line up anywhere on the defensive line. I may go with him right here just because he's such a really good value pick, and I'm not sure I like what we have too much here on offense. And I actually just wrote an article for Arrowhead Addict describing this exact scenario where the board doesn't fall right, but a high value defensive lineman is available. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take Darius Robinson this time in the first round. I don't think you'd find too many Chiefs fans complaining about that pick, and the need is certainly there for a defensive lineman because Charles Omenihu is going to miss the first chunk of next year. Defensive tackle, there's not really a whole lot behind Chris Jones that you're thrilled about. That was one of the weaker positions on defense last year, was defensive tackle. And Chris Jones, as he gets older, you're going to want to give him some help, guys that can kind of fill in here and there. Darius Robinson could certainly do that. See, now here at pick 64, I really like our options a lot better at offensive tackle, at wide receiver. Xavier Legette from South Carolina. I came into the draft process kind of negative on him, and that was because of separation concerns, but man, I watch his tape and he's just a gamer, and he's explosive, and I think he could do real well in Kansas City. You see that 9.9 RAS score. He's a crazy athlete. I feel like he can separate just fine in the NFL with the right coaching. Malachi Corley, I feel like he's a little bit of a Rashee Rice clone. Don't really need that. Could double up on defensive tackle here. I'm not going to, but there's some talent available. And then Patrick Paul, the offensive tackle from Houston. I'd be real comfortable with him here. I really don't want to wait till the third round to take a wide receiver. I feel like that'd be risking it just a little bit. I see Xavier Legette right there. He fills a need. I feel good about him. Ricky Pearsall, I would feel really good if he was available at our next pick, but I just don't think he's going to make it there. So I'd rather take Legette now. I really like Ricky Pearsall, though, and he's blazing fast, too. But, you know, he just feels like one of those guys that's rising up boards, and he's not going to be available at that next pick. He'd be a little bit of a reach here. I know I said I wouldn't trade, but now I'm thinking I should trade back. I'll try. I can't resist. I'm going to try trading back. If I could get to like 71 with the Cardinals, let's try that. Arizona. Give them 64 for 71. And we will ask for 104 instead of 131. Let's see if they take that. Okay, trade rejected. Let's try the Giants at 70. Maybe they'll like us a little bit more. And that way, less of a risk because you're moving back one less spot. We'll offer them 64 for 70. And we will ask for 166 instead of 173. I feel like that's a lot more fair. They better take that. There we go. Okay. Watch, he's going to go anyway. No? Okay, perfect. So Patrick Paul and... Okay, no, just Patrick Paul went. Or, okay, Xavier Legette went with the pick that we gave the Giants. Patrick Paul also went, but right here, I'm a lot more comfortable taking Ricky Pearsall, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, and I would love him in this Chiefs offense. Not to bring my Mizzou fandom into it, but I did see that Mizzou-Florida game, and for my Mizzou fans out there that remember that Florida game, Ricky Pearsall absolutely murdered us. I mean, just when he gets the ball in his hands in space, look out for Ricky Pearsall. All right, let's see what is available at offensive tackle. We got Blake Fisher from Notre Dame. I took him last time. Javon Foster from Missouri. I'm trying so hard not to bring my Missouri bias into this, but like I just know these guys. And Javon Foster is definitely a guy that on day 2 or day 3 I would not mind whatsoever because I do think he has eventual starter potential. Christian Jones from Texas is up there too. Let's see. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., linebacker from Clemson. A lot of Chiefs fans probably recognize that name. But don't really need a linebacker. He's the best player available here. Wide receiver Johnny Wilson. I had fun with him last time. I'm not going to take him again. Here's the thing. Running back. This is kind of when I would start looking at running back. Not saying that the Chiefs should take one in round 3, but if you guys missed it, J.K. Dobbins, who the Chiefs had on a free agent visit a couple weeks ago, ended up signing with the Los Angeles Chargers, and because of that, the Chiefs are kind of out of options at veteran running back and free agency. They've pretty much pigeonholed themselves into drafting a running back in this year's draft, and relatively high. Now, when I say relatively, that means like after the top 100 picks. I'm probably not going to take one right now. I'm going to wait a little bit, but this isn't a super strong running back class, so you don't want to wait too long. And the other thing is you can't go into next year with Pacheco and Clyde being a running back room, because then you're one Pacheco injury away from Clyde being your starting running back. It just can't happen. You guys know I'm not a big fan of CEH. He averaged 3.2 yards per carry last year, and what a lot of people consider to be one of his better years since he's been in the NFL, kind of a redemption year. 3.2 yards per carry is extremely inefficient. I'm not a CEH fan whatsoever. I feel like here a safe pick would probably be going with Blake Fisher, the Notre Dame offensive tackle. I took him last time, but I'll do it again. Why not? And then here at pick 131, this is when I'd probably start looking at running backs for sure. We got Ray Davis from Kentucky, Jalen Wright from Tennessee, Dylan Laube of New Hampshire. I know a lot of people like him. Cornerback Cam Hart. Hey, you know, after this need trade, that would make a lot of sense. I really like him. I feel like I could wait a little bit longer for running back, although I really like Jalen Wright out of Tennessee. Definitely feel like he can come in and make an impact in year one. Ray Davis was one of the best running backs in the SEC. I'm pretty comfortable right now with what we have on the defensive line with that Darius Robinson pick in round 1, so I don't think I'm going to spend another pick on defensive lineman until late day 3. I'll go Jalen Wright. I really like Jalen Wright. I think he's really explosive. He's got good cutting ability. I like that pick. And now we're set at running back. All right. Now we've kind of addressed all the major needs. Could definitely address cornerback. I'm not too familiar with these names here. I know a lot of people like Jarius Monroe, the cornerback out of Tulane. He'd be a little bit of a reach here, though. But you know that Veach loves his late day 3 defensive backs. I definitely could see the Chiefs, though. Eric All, the tight end from Iowa. That would be an interesting pick here. Iowa tight end. I would not feel bad at all taking a shot on a guy like that. You got Tyke Smith, the safety from Georgia. Zach Zinter, the offensive guard from Michigan. Hey, you know, it's never too early to start looking at a replacement for Joe Tooney and or Trey Smith, since those guys the Chiefs probably aren't going to keep both of them beyond this year. Honestly, that would be a damn good pick right here. At 159. I kind of like Eric All from Iowa, though, taking a shot on a tight end. We do have pick 166, though, so we could probably still grab him. I'm going to try to get a guard right here. I'm going to go Zach Zinter right here, because I definitely like the idea of bringing in a guard. Our guy Jarius Monroe went. But Eric All is still there. They don't have their profile on him yet, but he's very intriguing to me. Blake Watson, the running back from Memphis, if we waited. Tip Riemann, the tight end from Illinois. I know a lot of Chiefs fans like him. He was a crazy athlete in the pre-draft testing. I might even like him more than Eric All. Might be a little bit of a reach right here, but I like him. What else we got? Daquan Hardy, cornerback from Penn State. Safety Jalen Carlise. He's really rising up these boards. I took him last mock draft, I think. He's my guy. I feel like he's one of the more underrated Mizzou prospects in this year's draft, because I think a lot of teams are projecting him at linebacker at the next level, because he's 225 pounds, runs a 4.5 40-yard dash, big physical specimen. A lot of people see him as maybe playing dime linebacker, and that's very interesting to me. I think I'm going to go with Tip Riemann, tight end from Illinois. Some people might think it's a reach here, but I really like him. I fall in love with athleticism a lot, if you guys haven't already noticed. Again, we've already kind of addressed most of our major needs. You could definitely double up on running back. Carson Steele, the Chiefs actually met with him recently. They had a pre-draft visit with him, so he could be an option. And look, again, I'm not a fan of CEH, and I think you could maybe add multiple late-round UDFA running backs. And honestly, he would make a lot of sense right here. I might even just go ahead and get him. Let's see what wide receivers are still available, though. Just curious this late in the draft. Xavier Weaver from Colorado is interesting. He was really productive for them last year. He got Anais Smith, the Texas A&M wide receiver. A lot of people like him too. Does the dirty work, they say. Isaiah Williams from Illinois. I remember he started out as a quarterback in college. Honestly, Anais Smith is actually intriguing here too. I might go running back though because I feel like it's the bigger need. Wide receiver would have been well addressed here. I maybe could have grabbed Javon Baker or something from UCF earlier on, but that's not the way the board fell. Yeah, I think I'll go Carson Steele right here. Double up at running back just to make sure you have another contributor that keeps CEH off the field. And we might... Yeah, we're done. So that is our mock draft 2.0 for the Kansas City Chiefs. We grab a versatile defensive lineman in Darius Robinson that should reload the pass rush, keep that defense going. You grab a very, very high upside wide receiver in Ricky Pearsall that I would love to see added to this offense. I'd feel very comfortable with the wide receiver room if he's added. You add kind of a high floor offensive tackle in Blake Fisher that can compete for either tackle spot, really. Jalen Wright, the running back from Tennessee, should help shore up the offensive backfield. You draft maybe a future guard replacement for Tooney or Trey Smith waiting in the wings. Tip Riemann, the tight end from Illinois, probably my favorite pick out of this whole draft because he has a ton of upside. We know that Travis Kelce's getting older, and you're going to want to find guys to help give him a breather that can go out there and maybe replicate a little more of what he does. Noah Gray's he's kind of stepped into that role a little bit, but I'm not sure his ceiling is super high. Tip Riemann's ceiling, because of his athleticism, because of his size, is a lot higher. And then we got Carson Steele, the running back out of UCLA, that has had a little bit of buzz with the Kansas City Chiefs here recently in the pre-draft process, and he would be another weapon out of the backfield. So yeah, I feel pretty good about this draft as far as addressing most of the Chiefs' needs. Maybe I could have got another wide receiver or went with another defensive back at some point, but there just wasn't any good ones available that I felt comfortable taking with the way that the board fell. And with this draft, you could go out and you could sign a veteran cornerback like Xavier Howard or something like that. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think of this mock draft. And if you saw my first mock draft 1.0, let me know what you think of this one in comparison to that one, or if you liked that one better. That one was pretty much the super wide receiver draft. This one was a lot better at addressing all those needs, like I said. But I want to hear from you guys what you think of my mock draft, what picks you would have made differently. Let me know down in the comments. But with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. And make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com for more. I'll see you all in the next one. Go Chiefs!